Hey guys, welcome back to At the Movies with Porter and Steele. It's been a long time. We haven't uploaded in a very long time.
Yeah. Well, with everything going on and all that stuff, can't really go to the movies anymore. But the old movies we can still do. We just haven't been.
Yeah, so don't know when this will actually be uploaded to the channel, but today we're reviewing Thunderball.
Yeah.
Wow.
Man, I'm a big fan of the 007 movies, the James Bond movies. Some of my favorite movies of all time, and I remember this movie being quite a gem. Boy.
It's a masterpiece of shit.
Yeah.
It's really a masterpiece of shit. This is not a good movie.
Let's go ahead and start with our rankings, and this time I want you to go first.
Wait, you want to get the ranking out of the way?
Yeah. Let's start with this.
Well, we have to remember what our rankings are.
Yeah.
Remember?
Go ahead.
Okay, so the best is masterpiece.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the one below that was what?
Because I don't own it.
Buy it, own it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Masterpiece, buy it, own it, guilty pleasure. Those
Mm-hmm.
are the three positive ones.
Yeah.
And then the three negative ones were a $5 bin.
Yeah.
Do not go see this movie.
Yeah.
And then coaster.
Yeah. Where the movie served more of a purpose as, like, something other than being watched.
I want you to go first because it's one of two. I don't know which one. Okay, fine. I guess I'll do it. Out of respect for Sean Connery, I will not say that this is a coaster. The first half, at least there's something that's not god awful. Why are you looking at it like that? You're freaking me out.
It just... I keep going.
Don't buy it. Don't own it.
Yeah.
Don't see it. I'm not going to sell this just because I already have it and it's part of the James Bond collection.
Listen,
but
it's part of something great.
Yeah.
That being said, this was not a movie.
It's just an underwater scuba sequence.
I'm saying this is a coaster. I'm saying...
I can't really tell you you're wrong. I mean, like...
And it sucks because, like, I'm such a James Bond fan. And it's even got Sean Connery in it, who I consider to be the best Bond. Like, he just plays a classy womanizer in the movie. But, like, this isn't a movie. They just follow him around for, like, 2 hours of runtime.
You're right. Because I have to be... I can't be biased and say it has anything to do with Sean Connery because there's nothing against him.
No.
You're right. This is a coaster.
He's great. On screen, it's awesome following him around, but the problem is they don't do anything.
This is a coaster movie, and it's not only something that I would never want to watch again, it's like I actually now have disdain for this movie.
Yeah. It sucks, because it's like, it doesn't tell a story. They don't go around, they don't do anything, they just follow James Bond around for like 3 days.
It has the jetpack scene.
Yeah, sure.
30 seconds of this movie, there's jetpack.
And the blue screening is terrible.
Yeah.
But I mean that's part of the charm of like the old school movies is how terrible the like effects are. But the problem is like you can't even get lost in like the humor of like the old schoolness of the movie because there's just no movie. It's literally you're just watching a guy for 2 hours.
So the plot was supposed to be that a plane that had nuclear missiles on it got hijacked by Spectre, basically.
Yeah.
Supposedly crashed, but it was more just like it went into the ocean on purpose, and then...
Would love to poke some holes into that, because they're talking about, like, oh, they've been planning for this for years. They had facial reconstruction, and they taught this guy how to fly a plane for all this stuff, and it's like, how did they know that was the one dude they were going to have fly this exact plane?
I also want to point out the fact that when the dude opened the door, and it was literally his face, like a guy like with his face that opened the door, that was a mirror.
That was
it was a mirror.
I'm not even gonna lie.
They don't have
they
don't have two actors that look like that, obviously, and they didn't do some special effect. That was literally just.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! It's me standing there. You don't say.
Yeah.
Fuck. That was it was terrible. A lot of the effects were bad. The sound mixing was the worst I've ever heard.
You go from people talking.
Where you're like,
you can't fucking.
I can't understand what you're saying.
And then there's an explosion
of
sound,
or there's just
orchestra.
Yeah, they're just like, that's it. That soundtrack.
Sound mixing doesn't exist inside of movies.
The underwater scuba sequences, which is literally half of this movie at least,
yeah,
was awful.
Yeah, you can't really tell what's going on.
Can't tell what's going on. You don't care what's going on because you're not getting any kind of dialogue because it's all just underwater stuff.
I don't need dialogue. I'm a big fan of
but you need like. If characters aren't saying anything and it's just action, okay, cool. But I'm saying like I can deal with like Drive. You ever seen that movie with Ryan Gosling?
Yeah.
He doesn't talk a whole lot.
Yeah.
But other people can talk for him or talk around him or whatever in a scene where like you understand that what's happening and stuff's moving on.
Yeah.
This is like, okay, well, like the plot itself, like, okay, the missiles got stolen, they have them, now what are we gonna do? That happens in what, the first 30 minutes, and then the next hour and a half of the movie at least is just
that first 30 minutes is the plot of the movie, and the rest of it is just there.
Yeah.
And I'm a big fan of like storytelling without words, like, oh, stuff happens around somebody and they notice it.
Yeah, people
like,
say in movies, show, don't tell.
Yeah,
well,
that's not what happened.
No, that's
not what happened. They literally just they're just underwater and they're doing things. There's no progression anywhere.
No.
There's people like swinging like knives around, all slow and underwater and stuff. And then they zoom in on people's faces, but you can't see anything because there's fucking bubbles everywhere.
Sean Connery did this look about, 4 times underwater? He was like to show that he's like, concerned, looking at something, about to stop something. That was it.
At one point, somebody, like, Sean Connery had mixed in with a group of, like, evil scuba diving team. He was dressed the same way as them, and, like, at one point, somebody, like, notices it's 007, it's James Bond. And then the music kicks off. He didn't even realize what had happened.
No, I just was like, okay, we have music for what?
Like, why did the music change, and why are they fighting now? And it's like, I guess they noticed.
I was telling him the whole time, I was like, if I was a director, I wouldn't have taken the script, because I'd be like, if you want all this stuff underwater, I was like, you have everyone in the same scuba gear. I was like, no one's going to be able to tell who anyone is, and therefore, if you can't tell what's going on, it's not impactful to you. Why do you care about what's going on?
Yeah.
And it's not even that exciting to watch.
Yeah.
It'd be different if, like, you're doing a scene where, like, people are doing, like, race car driving at, like, 200 miles an hour, and you're like, well, at least this is exciting. I don't necessarily need to see who's who.
Have some thrill, high octane. And every now and then they would show, like, sharks and stuff in the water, and it's like, that's clearly not where they are.
Yeah. And James Bond movies aren't always, like, the best with their plot. Like, you know, sometimes you could be like, well, that's a little silly or whatever. But, like, I told him, this movie does the ultimate cardinal sin of what a James Bond movie can't be. It was not entertaining.
Yeah.
It was boring. And you can't do that. Like, that you can be anything in a James Bond movie. Just don't be that.
And that's about all I have to say about Thunderball.
Yeah.
That's a tragedy.
Yeah. So, yeah, okay. You said coaster, and after reconsideration, yeah, it's a coaster.
Yeah, it wasn't a movie.
So I will actually have to sell this thing.
Yeah,
I don't want something in my collection. No, but I don't want something in my collection that I'm like, because I don't care about like a brief example, Rush Hour. I love Rush Hour 1, Rush Hour 2. I hated Rush Hour 3. I do not own it. I don't do the whole like, well, just for a trilogy, I'll do that.
I mean, it's
if I don't like the movie, I don't like the movie, man. Like, and I don't like this movie. I don't want to have something in my collection that someone has to look at and be like, hey, Thunderball, you like that movie? Actually, I don't. Then why do you own it?
Yeah. Well, why do you own Ted?
And I also wouldn't want to show this to anybody. I don't want anyone to endure this. That's the whole point of us doing these reviews, is because if something's good, we praise it and get the word out there that, hey, go watch this movie. And if it's bad, we go, you don't need to see this movie. I just told you everything about it. You don't need to see it.
Yeah.
Do you think there's someone out there? I'm sure there's diehard James Bond fans. Do you think there's someone out there that actually finds more enjoyment out of this than like
I would consider
Goldfinger
myself
or something?
No, I would consider myself a diehard James Bond fan.
We are diehard James Bond fans, and no,
fuck, dude, like, damn.
But the only thing I thought was cool, which I think they've done in a previous James Bond movie, where we're at basically like the first 3, that that area that they have that building where like all the MI6 agents met, the double O's, and like they're just in that grand building. Yeah. In that grand building where it's all open and stuff like that, and it looks really old and like classy, like I don't know what's the correct term, like old England looking, like just a royal looking building. Like that was cool. But
did you like how they didn't do anything with that?
Yeah, it was a little disappointing.
They literally had James Bond walk in, and they were like, finally everybody's here. Like, James Bond's an asshole for showing up late. And he's like, well, whatever. And then he sits down.
I thought about that, the map that they pulled down or whatever. You do realize that, like, back then, someone would have had to draw this line, this red line or whatever, on this gigantic map.
Yeah, yeah.
Wouldn't you rather you would literally just rather just pass out? Like, hey.
Also, to show you how stupid this movie is, they have, like, 10 seconds of runtime dedicated to a guy walking over to a rope, pulling the rope, a painting going up, and then some dude sits there and goes, this is the area we think that they could possibly fly a bomb in from. That's it. I
would be more the walking, that runtime or whatever. That doesn't bother me. It's the, okay, you brought us all in here to see what? to see a map that you literally could have just made copies of. It just
Yeah.
said, and I know that like printers weren't around back. Like a copy machine wasn't a thing or whatever.
Yeah, but painting the entire wall?
No, I know. I'm saying like you literally would just like you'd have some person that's an artist. You just draw this multiple times for all the MI6 guys.
Sure, but then
Or you could just have them pass it around.
Yeah, then they don't go anywhere with it. They're like, yeah, this is the area, and he spent all 5 seconds being like, this is the area we believe they could bomb us from, and we've checked it, and there's nothing there.
I mean, there's more stuff in this movie, like I brought up, which is that if you're a member of Spectre, why do you wear a not a regular ring, a gigantic ring that's this big that anyone is gonna know?
Like the size of your fucking fist. And
yeah.
And this chick's like, I just like the ring.
Like, oh, what a surprise.
Cool. Anyways. There was a couple good points.
Why is James Bond still alive? Yeah. He goes into that dude's house multiple times.
At any point, they could have killed him.
He's literally like, he just openly like, I want to bang your girl. He's like doing that all the time. And then the dude's just like, yeah, that's fine. I'm actually just going to keep being hospitable to you when I know that like you're probably going to try to like screw over my operation.
He walks into that casino and he's like, oh, there's a Spectre over your shoulder. Calling out the dude's a Spectre member.
I like that. We both thought that was funny and that was clever and we like that. The problem is when you put him... He's vulnerable to be like, the guy could do whatever he wants to James Bond while he's in his like house.
They had him right where he wanted him, and they're like, we can't kill him. It's like, you really
could.
can.
Yeah,
you
really can.
You super can.
Yeah. Okay, I mean, I don't know. Maybe we railed on this movie hard enough. I don't know.
That's whatever. It had that one good moment.
Thunderball, Coaster. Don't go watch it.
Yeah. Sorry, James.
Just leave that out of your mind. That it doesn't count. You know they remade this movie with...
Yeah.
Okay, the Never Say Die, or what is it? Never Say Never Again? I think it's Never Say Never Again. It's when Sean Connery came back to the role.
I don't remember.
It's Sean Connery came back to the role, but it wasn't under MGM. It was by a different studio. Yeah. A guy that was like, hey, James Bond's half mine. I'm going to try to make my own. So he basically remade Thunderball. I've tried to watch the first like 10 minutes of that movie, and I couldn't get through it because it was that bad.
It's got to be better than this.
From a production standpoint, it's probably not, but maybe the plot's better. I don't know.
It has to be.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because there wasn't any in this one.
Well, I always wondered, I was like, why would you remake Thunderball? And now I'm like, I think I understand why.
Shit, that's why.
Because that dude probably watched this and was like, why are they just scuba fighting for this whole movie?
God damn.
Alright, well that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed the review. Thunderball sucks.
I'm sorry, Sean.
Sorry, Sean.